Rồi, rồi,
Hello. Oh, how are you today?
good. How about you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking me. All right. So I am using my personal link. Maybe after 40 minutes, it ends. So I will send you another link.
Okay.
All right. So now here, let's start the lesson right now. The grammar part. Today we will learn about defining relative clauses and the non-defining relative clauses. So first of all, could you please read exercise number one here?
Okay. Uh, Read the example and look at the online relative clauses. Complete the rules with the word in the box. He's a man who we interviewed last month. Sure, I roast the chicken that I bought this evening. My friend only eats food which is vegetarian. That's the restaurant where the famous chef works. She's a chef that became famous on a TV cooking competition.
That's great. And now let's complete the rules.
We use defining relative clause to give essential information about the thing, place, or person we are talking about. This information cannot be omitted. We use the pronoun who or which
So that is who or which.
to define a person and where, no, actually, actually
A
who
per
and where, and yeah,
who,
where.
who and where. Okay, so let's take a look at these five examples. The first one, the main. So we use who, a person. And then if you said about where, let's look at it. Where refers to the restaurant in example number four. But the restaurant, it isn't a person.
Sorry,
So,
yeah, but
and let's see the chicken food here. Number five, she's the chef. So the chef is a cook, right? The person who cooks in a restaurant, in a hotel. So we can use the word that. So to define a person, we can use who or that.
we can use
That.
okay,
So what about Ruby? What do you think?
that or which to define an object or thing.
Yes, that or which. That's great. And for C,
Mm, where to define a place.
that's great. Where to define a place. Right. And let's take a look at these five examples and these rules again. So this part is about defining relative clause. So after doing the first one, we will know that defining relative clause gives essential information about a noun, right? For example, number one, the main, and then we use who we interviewed last month to give essential information about this main. Or roast the chicken, and what kind of chicken? Which chicken? So we will use the defining relative clause to give more information about it. Okay.
Mhm.
So in general, this kind of grammar, the defining relative clauses here tell us exactly which person or thing we mean. So without it, the sentence wouldn't make full sense. Is that okay?
Yep.
Mm. And now let's move on to the second type of the relative clauses, non-defining one. So let's read exercise 2, please.
Read the examples, then complete the rules with who, which, and whose. Ella, who is in my tennis club, has won a national cookery competition. Pickles Cafe, which is near the football ground, is closing down. Jim, whose sister is in my class, is having a bad barbecue at the weekend. We use a non-defining relative clause to give more information about the person or thing we are talking about. Put commas around the clause because it contains extra information, which could be deleted. We use the pronoun um who to introduce more. Sorry. I think it's which.
Which, that's right, which to refers to things. And what else?
Hmm. Uh, we have who to introduce more information about people.
Great. That is who.
Uh, who's to introduce something that belongs to a person, thing, or place.
That's great. That is who. Alright, so the differences between the defining relative clauses and non-defining one, we can see the comma. For the non-defining relative clause, we will put one comma or even two comma around the clause. Yeah. And because this one, the relative clauses here, they contain extra information, which is the unnecessary information. So we can delete it. We can delete it. All right. For example, we can say Ella has won a national cookery competition. Yeah, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So who is in my tennis club here? The clause here, it is unnecessary information. Right. The differences between them. And as you can see, in a non-defining relative clause here, we usually see the like we usually see about the determiners or the exact names like Ella, Lucy, Jim, the name, or the determiners like my car, their name, yep, my, their, your, his, her, and so on. Or this, that, these, those. Usually, when you see these words, you can think of the non-defining relative clauses. Is
Mhm.
that okay? Yeah, like I can say, my uncle, I am using the determiner, my uncle who lives in maybe just in my imagination, Canada, who lives in Canada is visiting us next week. This one, my. So if I can omit this clause, I can say my uncle is visiting us next week, but I want to add some more information which is not necessary. I can do like that with
Yeah.
a pair of comma. Right, we finish this one. And now let's move on to the next exercise. Practice more by doing exercise 3. So we will read the examples and then answer the questions. Yeah. Which has a defining relative clause and which one has a non-defining one. So Let's read number 1, please.
Read the examples, which had a defining relative clause, which has a non-defining relative clause. Match example to the meaning. The receipt, which teenagers have created, it will be posted on our website. The rest receipt, which teenagers have created, will be posted on our website. There are rest received from people from all age, but only the one from teenage will be posted. The receipt all by teenagers, and they will all be posted.
All right. So for this word, it comes from French, so it is pronounced recipe, recipes. Okay, yes, me too. So could you try to say it again?
Recipe.
Recipe here. And then for this, ages, extra sound. So for sentence number 1 here, does it have a defining relative clause or a non-defining relative clause?
Yep, ages.
Yeah, we can see a comma in a comma, which means we can omit the clause here, right? We can omit it.
Yep.
Because we can omit it, we can delete it, which means it is not necessary information. So that is non-defining relative clause. Yeah, non-defining. It doesn't define the whole sentence. So it is non-defining relative clause. And then for sentence 2, we don't see any commas here, which means we cannot omit it because this one is a necessary piece of information. So it means sentence number 2 is a defining relative clause. Okay. Then after answering these 2 questions, please could you match the examples 1 and 2 to their meanings, A or B?
Okay.
Right, I can see 1, A. There are recipes from people of all ages, but only the ones from teenagers will be posted. And then for B, the recipes are all by teenagers, and they will be. So I think number 1, it should be sentence B here. Here, the recipes which teenagers have created, which means all by teenagers. So we don't need to write it. We don't need to write this information, right? And because of it, we don't need, which means it's not very important. It is unnecessary. So that is 1. Okay. And then for A, the recipes which teenagers have created, we cannot omit it. We cannot delete this information, which means it's very important. So maybe there are a lot of recipes from people of all ages, maybe over 18 or the elderly. But here, for those recipes, especially which teenagers have created, So yeah, that must be number two. Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah, owned by teenagers here, which means the same, nothing special. So because nothing special, nothing necessary. So we can delete it.
Okay.
Okay. And now let's try to move on. Exercise number 4. Please correct the mistake here.
Uh, no, no.
Okay, you add a comma. Right, I can see. So I agree with you. Number 2, where, because a place is a place, right? Where, and then we just need an adverb. You is a subject. Yeah. Can study verb and study here. We don't need any objects after all. So we should use where. And then
Yep.
the next one, who? Sure, brother, a person. And then a girl, that, or you can write who. But for number 1, if you add a comma, but which one is the main clause and which one is the relative clause? So we need to define. Uh, if we don't define, you will see in this sentence, was, it is a main verb, and then lost, it is a main verb again. So two
Yep.
verbs in one sentence is wrong. So yeah, the film was about a man and then lost his way. So this one is a relative clause. It is used to define a man. So please add who here, or you can add the word that here. And we don't need any commas because without who lost his way, we cannot know which mean. So it is important information. Is that okay?
Yep.
So a man who lost his way. Right, finish this. Now let's continue. Exercise number 5 is quite a difficult exercise because you need to rewrite. And for this, use non-defining relative clauses. Just one kind of relative clauses. Can you please read sentence number 0?
Okay. Thai food can be quite hot. It contains chilies and other spice. Thai food, which contains chilies and other spice, can be quite hot.
Great. But this one, spices. Put this here.
Some spices.
Great. And what do you think of number 1?
The water is very friendly. He comes to the Barcelona. The waiter, he comes from Barcelona, is very friendly.
Mm, who or he?
He
Okay, got it, got it. Barcelona in English is very friendly, right?
actually, yeah,
Mm.
still good. And
If you write he here, so it's just some parts of the sentences of the sentence. Like the waiter, one part, and then he comes from Barcelona, a simple sentence, and then is very friendly, just a part. So no, we need to change he into who,
yeah,
right? Because we are using the relative clause. Who here refers to he and the waiter. So is that okay with the change here? It's not he, it's who. Mm. So now let's take a look at number 0 again. We have Thai food and then it contains. So we can see it with Thai food. It refers to Thai food, right? And then because this is just a thing, not a person, we will use which. So Thai food and then which means it here. And then when you use which, please don't use it. And then when you use who, don't use he here. Is that okay?
yeah.
Okay. It's very friendly. What do you think of number 2?
She, my mom's soup is delicious. It is made from beans, garlic, and tomatoes. My mom's soup is, which is made from beans, garlic, and tomato, is delicious.
Yeah, right. Perfect. What about number 3?
Kim, Kim will order my birthday cake. Uncle is a baker. Kim will,
Yeah. Can well.
uh, Kim, uncles who is a baker, will order my birthday cake.
Okay. So uncle is a baker and that will order my birthday cake. So for this one, you said the word who or whose. Kim,
Just start. No.
uh, Kim and uncle, a relationship between them, right? So her uncle, the possession, we will use whose. We cannot use who, WHO, although we are talking about a person, because here the relationship between him and the uncle. So because we want to talk about uh, him and she has an uncle, right? And the uncle is a baker, so it's better to use whose, talking about the relationship between them. That's okay. Right, if you got it, let's move on to number 4.
Yeah. This dessert is very rich. It has 300 grams of chocolate in it. This dessert has, which has 300 grams of chocolate in it, is very rich.
It is very rich. It's perfect. Totally correct. All right. Do you have any questions about these two kinds of relative clauses?
Mm, um, I
Mm,
don't know.
good. So first of all, like I am introducing these kinds of relative clauses to you, and then you will review it more, and then you can practice more. So don't worry, you can use this kind of grammar. All right. But sorry, I cannot see you in your camera.
Oh,
Great, thank you. So let's move on to the vocabulary part here. Today we will learn about the transitive and intransitive verbs. So what are they? Let's try to find out. Number one, could you please
mm,
read these four examples?
okay. Look at the sentence. Underline the objects. Two sentences don't have one. Boil the carrots for 5 minutes. The soup will like boil for an hour. Can it taste your food? And this ice cream tastes great.
Hmm, great. So now they ask us to underline the object. So for sentence number one, that's right. What
Um,
about two, three, four?
soup, food, ice cream.
Number one and number three, correct here. But number two and number four, you underline the subject, not the objects. Usually the subjects first and then the verb, right? And after that, it is an object. So object, it comes after the main verb. So for number two and four, are there any objects?
Mm, yeah.
Hmm, actually, no, they aren't. They don't have any objects. We can
All
see
right.
the soup is the subject, the soup, and then boil, the verb. And after that, no, we cannot see an object. Just for an hour, the phrase with for to talk about the time, right? Or the purpose. And then number four, this ice cream is the subject, tastes, and after that, great is an adjective, not an object, because an object must be a noun or a noun phrase. So again, for number one and number three, there are some objects, the carrots and food, your food, food. But for number two and number four, we don't have any objects here, no object. Okay. So if you can find an object after a verb, which means the verb here is a transitive verb. Transitive verb. So number
Yeah.
one and number four, transitive verb. Sorry, one and three. Number two and number four, they are intransitive verb.
Mm,
Transitive verb here. Yeah. If there if there is an object or even two objects after a verb, this verb is a transitive verb. But if we cannot find any objects after a verb, the verb here is an intransitive verb. Just it.
yeah.
Okay. And now let's try to finish exercise two. Please read the definition and complete the rules.
Some verbs can be both transitive and intransitive. For example, boil and taste. In exercise one, the verbs in sentence and are transitive. Um,
Yeah, transitive. Objects. We can see objects. So, which sentences have objects?
I don't know.
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Here we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, just boil in taste. But number 1 and number 3, we can see the carrots in your food. They are objects. So boil in number 1, in taste in number 3, they are transitive verbs. Transitive verbs.
Yeah.
Let me give you some examples. For example, I can say, I want to eat pizza. So in my sentence, eat is the main verb, and after eat, I have an object, pizza. Pizza is an object. It comes after the main verb. So at this time, eat is a transitive verb. Transitive verb. Yeah. But I can say, oh no, I'm full. I don't want to eat. Right? I'm full. I don't want to eat. So at this time, after eat, there is no object. So eat here is intransitive verb.
Yeah.
Transitive verb. Yeah. Okay. But for some verbs, they are intransitive verb. For example, run. We can say I run, he is running, or she can run fast. But after run, you cannot find any objects because it is definitely an intransitive verb. Run here, or I can say sleep, no object, right? We don't need to put any objects after it. But for example, the word give, like my teacher usually gives me a lot of homework. So for the word give, it is always transitive verb because it needs object, one object or even two objects, like one object about the person here and one object about the thing here. Right. So give is always in the transitive verb. Is that okay for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry. Let's practice more with me. So I have this game and I hope that can help you to know deeply about these two types of verbs. Okay. This way. Now the food is burning. The verb burn, in your opinion, is it an intransitive verb or is it a transitive verb?
Uh,
Burning without any objects.
First, transitive.
You're right.
This is
Yeah, be
oh,
careful with some words here. Taste, like, feel like, smell. Because after it can go with the adjective. Yeah.
mm,
Oh, we can see an object here. The soup, soup what? I cannot see, but anyway, the soup here. The soup is the object, right?
yeah.
What do you need to stir? I need to stir the soup. Oh, yes. Mm. So which one?
Mm.
Transitive. It is a transitive
Oh,
verb.
oh,
Yeah, the soup is an object. The object. Okay. And then boils here. Boils what? No, no object, right? Oh, wait. That's right.
I find some nice for breakfast. What?
Right, we finish this one. This one is quite difficult because for some verbs after it, you can see some phrases like the preposition, the the prepositions about something or the adjective, but they are not object, so be careful. Anyway, about the theory, do you have any questions?
No.
No, right? So
Mm.
don't worry, I will send you maybe a summary of the grammar point here in the vocabulary part here. Now, let's move on to the next part. Listening. For this one, we need to read the questions, look at the pictures, three options of each question, and then choose the correct answer. So, number one, can you please read the question?
Where do the friends decide to eat?
That's right. So, what about number two? Yeah, let's take a look.
Ingredients the girl prefer to use in her cooking, which product do the students select for their art project, and what will they have for dinner?
And then we have number five.
Which cake does the man decide to bake? Where's the new cafe? And what will they give players after the football match?
Mm. And I'm sure that in the recording, you will hear all the three options here, but be careful with the information in the task, which means in the question, and then find out the correct answer. Let's go.
Track 54. 1. Where do the friends decide to eat?
The film doesn't start for another hour. Let's go and eat somewhere. How about your uncle's restaurant?
Well, it's got great views of the river, but it will take us a long time to get there. Why don't we go to the park cafe?
We could, but they only do salads and sandwiches, and I'd prefer a proper meal. I'm so hungry. Oh, I know. Let's try that new place near the cinema. You help yourself to whatever you want and pay for it at the end. It isn't expensive.
Okay, why not?
Was it B?
B, that's right. Totally correct. And then two.
2. Which ingredients would the girl prefer to use in her cooking?
Mum works late, so I cook our meals during the week. There are a few of us in my family, and everyone's got things they like and dislike, so it's hard keeping everyone happy. I usually avoid milk and butter, 'cause Dad can't eat them, though I love them. Spicy food with lots of chilies and garlic are what I would really like to use, but my grandparents aren't keen on that kind of thing. I usually make quite plain dishes and add salt and lemon juice. That tastes great with fish.
Let's see.
Oh, that is C. That is not C, but now less than 1 minute of our meeting here. So let's listen again too. I will send you another link for the class.
Okay.
Mm.